We're used to seeing it as a still, unmoving icon, but this structure shouldn't even be standing. 1,000 tons of reinforced concrete defy gravity at 2,300 feet above sea level. On a peak where winds exceed 125 miles per hour. To understand the magnitude of this work, we have to go back to 1921. Brazil wanted a symbol for the centennial of its independence. Mount Corcovado, the Hunchback, was the obvious choice for its location, but the most insane one for construction. We're talking about an isolated granite spire surrounded by rainforest and battered by Atlantic storms. Engineer Heitor da Silva Costa won the competition, but his first design was radically different. He imagined a Christ holding a cross and a globe. The criticism was brutal. People mockingly called it Christ with a ball. That initial failure pushed Silva Costa to find a perfect balance between art and engineering. The final decision was brilliant. The statue itself would become the cross. A clean, essential Art Deco design, modern, but with a massive technical problem. How do you make a cross-shaped structure withstand such extreme lateral winds? In the 1920s, material choice was the biggest dilemma. Many pushed for steel, like the Eiffel Tower. But Silva Costa made a bold, risky decision for the time: reinforced concrete. Steel exposed to salty ocean air would require unsustainable maintenance and would corrode within decades. Reinforced concrete was the artificial stone of the future, but no one had ever used it at that scale for such a complex artistic structure. The structural calculations were entrusted to Albert Caquot, one of France's greatest engineers. He had to calculate resistance not only to the structure's own weight, 1,145 tons, but especially to wind pressure. The outstretched arms act like a massive sail. During storms, the pressure can reach hundreds of pounds per square yard. Reinforced concrete provided the necessary rigidity, but introduced another challenge. How do you ensure a uniform concrete pour, free of air bubbles, 2,300 feet up, where the weather changes every 10 minutes? While Brazil studied the rock, the artistic soul of the project took shape in Paris. Silva Costa realized that to give dignity to concrete, he needed the hand of a great artist. He chose Paul Landowski. Landowski didn't work on Corcovado itself, but in his studio in Boulogne-Billancourt, he created full-scale plaster models of the head and hands. The head stands about 12 feet tall. Each hand measures roughly 10.5 feet. These models were cut into dozens of pieces, creating negative molds that were shipped by sea to Rio de Janeiro. Once there, they were filled with reinforced concrete on site. It became the largest three-dimensional puzzle of its time. Each numbered block had to fit perfectly with the internal steel framework. An error of just a fraction of an inch at the base would mean feet of misalignment at the top. Now imagine the construction site in 1926. There were no paved roads leading to the summit. The only access was the Corcovado Railway. A rack railway opened in the late 1800s. Every single gram of material, sand, cement, water, scaffolding, and the plaster molds from Paris had to travel on those small trains. The space at the top was so limited that large material storage was impossible. The site had to operate like a perfectly synchronized machine. What arrived in the morning had to be installed or poured by evening. Workers lived in extreme isolation, often surrounded by clouds that made scaffolding slippery and invisible. Despite the total absence of modern safety harnesses and the dangerous conditions, not a single fatality was recorded during the 9 years of construction. For that era, it borders on a miracle. We often see the statue as a solid block, but technically it's a hollow building, about 12 stories high. Inside is a complex system of pillars and diagonal beams designed to distribute the load down to foundations anchored directly into the mountain's granite. There's even an internal metal staircase that runs from the feet to the arms and head. The corridors are narrow and tight. At the 4th level, in the chest area, the structure opens into what could be called the heart of the project. Silva Costa was so meticulous that he added a small heart-shaped protrusion both inside and outside, finished with the same care as the rest. It's the only detail invisible from the ground, a hidden signature left for future engineers. Reinforced concrete is strong but porous, and over time it cracks under thermal stress. Silva Costa wanted a surface that would last forever. He found the answer in soapstone, abundant in the quarries of Minas Gerais. This stone has a unique property, soft as talc when extracted, but extremely hard and waterproof once exposed to the elements. But how do you cover such a complex curved surface? The solution was manual microengineering. The stone was cut into 6 million tiny triangles, each about 1.2 inches wide and half an inch thick. These pieces weren't applied directly to the statue. That would have been impossible. Silva Costa mobilized Rio's parishes. Thousands of women glued the tiles onto sheets of fabric-backed paper. These sheets were then brought to the summit and applied to the fresh concrete, like mineral wallpaper. Many women wrote on the back of the tiles names of husbands, children, or their personal prayers. Technically, the statue isn't gray. It's a skin made of millions of stone fragments that reflect light differently throughout the day, while protecting the internal steel from the forest's deadly humidity. Being the tallest structure on an isolated peak means constant lightning strikes. During the rainy season, Corcovado becomes an epicenter of violent electrical storms. To prevent the statue from literally exploding, an advanced protection system was designed. The entire structure acts as a Faraday cage. Lightning rods are integrated into the crown of the head and the fingertips. The system channels electricity through the internal framework down to the granite foundations. Still, tropical lightning is so powerful that it often vaporizes the soapstone surface. In 2014, a particularly strong strike destroyed the right thumb. The repair process is extreme. Specialized workers, who are also professional climbers, descend by rope from the head, walk along the outstretched arms over open air, and rebuild the fingertip using soapstone from the original 1930 quarry, preserved specifically for restoration. On October 12, 1931, when the lights were first turned on, the world saw something beyond art or engineering. Christ the Redeemer is a victory over wind, altitude, and time. A 1,000-ton colossus that appears as light as a feather, thanks to the purity of its Art Deco lines and the precision of its construction. It's not just a monument, it's the result of 9 years of extreme calculations, millions of hand-placed stones, and a vision that transformed an inaccessible peak into a global icon. The next time you see it, remember that beneath that stone skin beats a heart of reinforced concrete, one that redefined the rules of modern architecture. Engineering is not just numbers, it's the courage to dream vertically, If you enjoyed this deep technical breakdown and want to discover what lies behind the world's greatest structures, subscribe to the channel.